Hi guys, Max here from Vanguard, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my Top Idol Riviere Bermuda Triangle deck profile. Top Idol Riviere is probably the second best build that Bermuda Triangle have at the moment. It's a re-riding, multi-attacking deck that also buffs up some nice rearguard columns and has restanding rearguards. It's holding its own in the meta. It's quite cheap, so I'd say it's probably one of the better, more budget-friendly decks in the game at the moment. That's enough to introduce the deck. Let's get into the build and see what we're playing. So our first obvious playset that we're using is 4 copies of Top Idol Riviere. Now, Riviere's got 2 skills. Her first skill is an on-place effect, and it's on-place to counterblast 1, discard a card from your hand, and you get to draw 2 cards. The second ability takes place after it's attacked, and that skill is, at the end of the battle when it's attacked, you discard 2 cards from your hand, pick another copy of this card from your hand, and ride it on top of your Riviere. And then that unit gains -1 drive. So that's our Riviere. It's 13k and it has force. Apart from that, we're also playing one more grade 3, and we play a playset of it. And it's this. It's our animated routing Marie-Jeanne. This card has a in-hand ability, and its skill is when your Vanguard is Riviere, you can discard this card from your hand, place a card from your drop zone into your soul, and if it's a Riviere, you get to add that card to your hand. You also get to draw a card off the skill too. So you're trading 1 card for 2. So really nice card, especially when you're losing your twin drive on your second ride from Riviere. But it is also a once per turn effect. This card is really amazing, and this card keeps the engine of the deck running. You need to desperately make sure that you don't ride it, because if you do ride it, it is just a 13k vanilla. You need to really make sure in this deck that you are riding your Top Idol Riviere as your grade 3 ride. Next we'll move on to our grade 2 Riviere. And our grade 2 Riviere we also play 4 of is Super Idol Riviere. She's 10k, and her skill in hand is if you already have a grade 2 Vanguard, you can ride it, and then you call 2 Mermaid Idol Rivieres from your soul to rearguard. That's the grade 1 Riviere, which has a skill on the back row of rearguard to be 10k boost, so it's really nice to call those out. And also if it's on rearguard circle, you can restand it when you ride a Riviere. So the way that would work is, say you have a Riviere on the field, and you have your Super Idol Riviere on rearguard circle, and say that it has a force marker on it. What you would want to do is you would attack with this first for 20k, then you would attack with your Vanguard Riviere, use Vanguard Riviere's skill to re-ride, and then on the re-ride this unit restands as well. So multiple attacks. So just off that, you'd be getting, if you had a column here, say if you'd called this, which you'd never want to do, you'd be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks off, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attacks off. So you'd be getting some really nice big attacks coming off that your opponent's going to have to discard lots of cards to stop. So that's our first grade 2. Our second grade 2 is Caro. So we run 4 Caro as well. And Caro is also a part of the Riviere search engine. So when she's placed, what you do is you Soul Blast 2, and you search deck for up to 1 card with the same name as your grade 3 Vanguard, reveal it and put it into your hand. It's once per turn ability as well. This guy's really good because one of the difficulties that Riviere has is, say I've already done my Riviere re-ride twice, and I've now got 3 Rivieres. I've got 1 on my Vanguard, 2 in Soul. What she's going to let me do is Soul Blast the Rivieres that I have in my soul, to then search out the Riviere from my deck, and then after that I'll be able to use my grade 3 Marie-Jeanne to add this into my soul and then add it back to my hand, meaning that I've gained 2 Rivieres from my deck and soul to my hand after only having 3 Rivieres on my Vanguard circle. So really nice skill to get off to recharge Riviere effects. So that's Caro that we run 4 of, and she's 10k as well. Our next grade 2 is our big attacker, and that's this one. That's Scramble Red Elend, and she has a skill in a way similar to the Grade 2 Riviere about it being working when you place a Riviere onto the Vanguard circle. But for her, her skill is that she gains 10k every time. So say you are starting your turn with this on Vanguard circle. Say this is the result of your second turn. You go into your third turn and you ride Riviere. She gains 10k, so she's at 20k now. You attack with your Riviere, and then after you attack, you re-ride Riviere. She's now on 30k. So really nice big attack. Try and force perfect guards out of your opponent's hand on rear guard attack is always nice. If not, try and force out that heal trigger they might have. So that's nearly all of our grade 2s. We've got one more, which is a tech, and it's this one. I just run one of it. It's Tide Conductor Echos, and this one's got a skill similar to our grade 2 we just looked at, to gain power when our Vanguard is placed, but this one just gains 5k once per turn. The main reason we run this card is to remove Riviere pieces from our soul and place them in the drop zone so we can get our Vanguard grade 3 skill off. So how she works is you Soul Blast free when you have placed a Vanguard. She gains 5k and you get to draw 2 cards. So you're gaining more cards in your hand and you're adding those Rivieres that are stuck in Soul back to drop zone so you can start recycling them again. She's 8k, but she is, to me, a nice tech choice. Next, we move on to our grade 1s, and we start off with our Riviere. We play 4 of this, and it's our Mermaid Idol Riviere. Mermaid Idol Riviere is an 8k grade 1. Her first skill is, if you're on grade 1, you can ride her on top and look at 7 cards from the top of your deck. Reveal up to 2 cards with Riviere. Reveal up to 1 card, with Riviere in its name, and add that to your hand. And then if you Soul Blasted the starter for its Soul Blast cost, you get to draw a card. Normally, I will keep using these until I've corrected my rides and got exactly what I want, which will normally be a grade 2 and a grade 3 at least. Re-riding grade 1s over and over again is fine, as long as you're going to ride into your grade 2, because then you can Soul Blast them and call them to rear guard and start to fill your board up. So that's Mermaid Idol Riviere. Next, another 4 of. We play 12 grade 1s, so this is our second grade 1, and it's Loftiest Pier Evange. Now, her skill is a Riviere specific skill, and it's when your Vanguard of Riviere is placed, so whether it's your grade 1, 2 or 3. If you have 1 or less face-up card in your damage zone, you can kill this unit to draw a card and soul charge 1. So it's a straight up trade really to, not soul charge, counter charge your damage and replace the card. So it thins your deck out, and it gives you the counter charge, so it's a great card. Next, we play something else we need for searching and for making sure we get our Riviere pieces, which is Aurora. Now, Aurora is just a web-placed, draw a card, discard a card. You can use it once per turn, but you need it because you really need to be making sure you've got the pieces you need in this deck if you want to be able to win your game. So she thins your deck out for you, and she's an 8k boost, which is fine. But the main reason we run her is just to thin our deck out more and make sure we have the cards we need for our kill turns. So that's our grade 1s. Next we run our starter, which is obviously our Riviere starter. So same skill as all the other starters. It's just when placed upon draw a card. But we need to run her because she's soul blasted out for our grade 1 to make sure we draw an extra card when we ride our grade 1. We then run our trigger lineup, which is the standard trigger lineup. 8 crits, 4 draws, 4 heals. We run this just because it's aggressive enough to make our opponent want to perfect guard our Vanguard attacks, while still giving us the benefit of having our draw triggers also be our perfect guard, so taking up less spots in our grade 1 lineup. If you really are worried about decking out, which is a real possibility with this deck, you can switch to a hyper aggro mode where you play 12 crits and only the grade 1 perfect guards. But to me, that makes you lose the space of your discard and draw, which I think you really need to make sure this deck isn't getting cloggy. So I much prefer running 8 crits and 4 draw triggers. So that's the deck profile. There is a game using this deck on our channel already, which you can check out. It's me playing the Riviere deck against Rowan's Nubatama. You'll see some of the dangers there are of running this deck in that game. But yeah, that's the deck profile. I'm not a expert Bermuda Triangle player, and I know that some of you guys will be. So I'd love to hear your suggestions on how the deck should be ran. I'd love to hear your suggestions on why my grade 2 tech is terrible and what you'd be running instead. So please do leave those in the comments. Please comment, rate and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. See you later, guys.